som arbejder med biologisk forskning med en række forskellige fagligheder. Matematikere, computerdesignere, ingeniører, biologer, arkitekter. Og hun arbejder både med sit eget studio, hun er underviser på Cornell University, og har også noget, der hedder Lab Studio. Og de her tre enheder er hele tiden sammen om at skabe de projekter, hun laver. Og det handler om for hende at udvikle arkitektur, der opfører sig som levende organismer. Kan man finde den her gyldne regel for det levende, altså for naturen, den formfinding, der er i naturen, som for øvrigt er meget inspireret af Cecil Balmont, som Paulette nævnte, som Jenny Sabin er elev af, som jo også er algoritmens mester. Her handler det også om at koble de studier, man finder i naturen med algoritmer. Altså at scripte algoritmer, der opfører sig ligesom naturen. Og på den måde udvikle materialer og former, der kan respondere på det miljø.
So we cannot stop change, but we can devise positive dynamical change. And in our research, we investigate how our architecture, aesthetic and pleasure can enable us through our daily practice to establish this dynamical change. So we have the technology, but how can we, through daily gesture, aesthetic, pleasure, change these processes? Can we transform some of the elements that our city produce and that we call pollutants, so they are negative, in something positive? Can we remetabolize them through architecture and landscape? So in a way, the forests articulate through a form of synthetic landscape an habitat where we are able to transform both the air we breathe, then the material that we produce as a waste and organic waste. Marco, do you want to bring us through each forest?
Yes, thank you. I mean, over the years, our personal experience living in London, a big city, we came to enjoy walking in forests and parks like Epping Forest, and you know, just the sense of connection with nature that just help us understand who we are as part of the biosphere. But you know, as time passed, we kind of came to realize that we are also changing as humans, as we are now more and more cyborgian in our nature. We are connected, augmented by the digital technologies and devices that we use on a daily basis. And in that way also the way we understood the forest and the nature we like to immerse ourselves has changed, has evolved. In a way we started to look deeper, quite literally, into the forest, and we started to discover that beyond the kind of image of the trees and the forest itself, there are a set of processes and organisms that can become, or we hope they will become, the new technology of nature. The way we can transform the way we live or inhabit and construct the world. So what is the technology of nature? For us, the technology of nature is a way of renaturalizing architecture, renaturalizing the world, rather than trying to use technology as a form of mechanization of the living world. For example, here on this log you see lichens. Lichens are a kind of common sight in woodlands, and they are one of the wonder organisms because they represent this perfect symbiosis between microalgae and fungi. And microalgae and fungi, which you see then in our pieces, are essentially the kind of fundamental principles of the circularity of nature. Microalgae are the most effective photosynthesizers in the world. They transform solar energy into biomass at an incredible rate, and they are the reverse of fire. You know, our civilization is based on fire, it's based on burning fossil fuel. Photosynthesis reverses this process, so we want to engineer bring photosynthesis into architecture. This photobioreactor, which is one of our innovation systems, allow us to create small-scale habitats for cyanobacteria, for microalgae to grow in the built environment. Each one of these has the same carbon capturing potential of a large tree. So in this room we have about 44 of them, which means that this room is effectively capturing carbon and producing oxygen at the rate of a microforest, like a real microforest. Only that is now inside of this room, and we can benefit from the connection we have with it on a daily basis, even while visiting the museum. So if on one part of the cycle we have algae photosynthesizing, on the other side we have mycelium that is a kind of reprocessing, digesting things. And to discover mycelium, maybe we want to venture a little bit into the kind of deeper side of the woodland, because mycelium lives in the dark, lives in the depth of the wood. But of course now it lives also in this type of trunks, these pieces that we have created. Using algorithms, we have scanned the bark, the external part of the tree, and reproduced it into this thin membrane of biopolymers. And then we have collected spent coffee ground, essentially waste from our use of coffee, to fill the interior and inoculate the mycelium. The mycelium is able to feed on the coffee, on the nutrients in the spent coffee ground, remetabolize it, grow, as you can see from all the white patterns that it creates, and essentially fill the voids until it becomes a solid column, if you want, the solid components for architecture. And of course we also enjoy playing with the resemblance that it has with the original trees, but at the same time is a completely synthetic log made by the power of mycelium. So the combination of these two organisms, the way they can essentially create a new symbiosis, just like in lichens in our architectural systems, for us really opens up a new future for architecture, a new future for design, once whereas Claudio was some of the carbon capturing technology.
That would be a part of Luma Arle, which is a cultural institute there, and there is a part of the program is Atelier Luma. Atelier Luma is a bio-design lab, and we focus on bioregional design. So maybe some explanation about these words. A biodesign lab is that we focusing on bioregional design, means that we look around what is there, what is in a region, what are the geological and the climatological conditions constituting, what are they making, what do they give us, and what do we find there. And by design we connect that with heritage, science, economy, industry, and create new objects out of that. And people and ideas are light and should travel globally. So what we did is interesting. There is a seed bank nearby. There is the museum itself as a resource, not only human resources, but also maybe leftovers of the material. It's not always very beautiful, it's very useful, it's a material and advantages of using salt and high-rise buildings because it's inflammable. So now we use it inside. You can see that there. So there you have salt. You have a lot. Ireland is known for the sunflower of Van Gogh. We processed a lot of sunflower, but we are mainly looking today to the seeds and the pits. Here we are processing paper pulp from humans between culture industry and bringing all these elements together. We really want to do that and implement that in reality. So for us, working with, for instance, also a changing nature, many in what is called negatively invasive species are changing our biodiversity. We think it is because climate is changing, because nature is evolving, because soils are deprived, that new species and trees, for instance, the tree of heaven, an aianthus tree, which is also present in Denmark, which is often cut and growing very fast, is something that can be seen as an abundant resource. So how can you make a Danish design classic, which is made from very slow, very high quality wood, from a very fast growing tree, the aianthus tree of heaven. So one of our field of researches is really what can you do with these new kind of species, from the leaves to the trunk to the branches. How can different strategies, design strategies, craft, industrial techniques make some new applications for us, because these trees are here and we have to live with them in one way or another. And spray it on it. So it is possible. That's at least what we want to say with this presentation, to envision a different future where materials stay local and we rethink our production and distribution systems around the world.
Welcome, everyone. So I'll give an overview as to what you're seeing in this gallery. The exhibition is organized through a specific algorithm called the cellular automata. And what you see on the floor is what I'm calling the field, and it encapsulates projects from my practice, Jenny Sabin Studio. And then on the wall are the 5 research topics that we explore in my lab, Jenny Sabin Lab, which is at Cornell University, where I am also a professor. So a fundamental question that drives all of the work is, how might buildings and their integrated material systems behave more like organisms, responding and adapting to their local environments? So the 5 research topics include morphogenesis. So together with biologists, plant scientists, biomedical engineers, we explore how nature makes form, and specifically looking at the role of the environment or context, the role of mechanics and structure in specifying changes in form. And so for us as architects, that presents a series of really powerful ecological models to bring back into the realm of architecture. And we explore that through several different types of materials, including ceramics and responsive textiles, as well as concepts called structural color, which we've heard about sunflowers previously with Luma. In our case, we look at sunflowers and how they track the light, which is called heliotropism. And it's been demonstrated that supported by 3D printing and digital fabrication. This version is not, but in the current research in my practice, I'm working with a physicist, a plant biologist, and